Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tarda Zone. We got another live stream here. The Radio Times asks, is Doctor Who's Centenary in trouble? Someone that's read the article on, or someone I follow on Twitter says it's a bit of a clickbaity article. So we'll see. We'll see. I haven't read it myself. I love these type of streams where I get an article where I haven't actually read it and we're reading it for the first time on the channel. Now remember, each paragraph I will be giving my own opinion. I won't be putting the article up on screen because you get accused of plagiarizing and all that rubbish. But for anybody that does want to read the article, it is in the link description. So if you just want to read along with me, that's absolutely fantastic. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, please. And okay, we'll get into it in a second. So let's see who we've got. Arduros is saying it is clickbait. Clickbait it is. We'll have a look at it anyway, and we'll see what they're clickbaiting about. But yeah, you're not the only person to tell me. I think that you're the second person now to tell me it's a bit of a clickbaity article. But we'll see. But if Radio Times are actually that desperate that they actually have to clickbait articles to get people to read them, that is actually quite sad, isn't it? So I think we can have a laugh at Radio Times' at Radio Times' expense there. I as I said, I haven't read it, so we will get into it. We will get into it. And we'll see what's going on. So let's see who's in the chat anyway. So far we got Sigma later, and we've got, as I said, Ardras in the chat as well. We've got 5 people watching now, so we'll just wait until a few more people come in. Obviously it's a late night stream, so we'll just give it a few minutes there before we start. But how is everybody feeling after the last live stream? It was an interesting one. It did get a bit heated, but as you know, I'm a very passionate guy, so I don't want anybody to take it personally. I'm just a very opinionated person, and I am very strong with me convictions. And there's Lee. He's in the chat as well. We got Problem Being. He goes, oi. Welcome. Got a bit heated a bit there, says Sigma later. It does. Listen, me and Arduros do this once in a while. He comes in. He likes to, have an answer for everything, and I like to answer him back. There's nothing wrong with that. But as I did say to him, and I'll say it again, if I've got it wrong, I will apologize. So that's where I am. As I said, I'll take it on the chin and I'll accept that I was wrong, and we'll just move on. Knowles a mouthy get and then gives it how dare you? You just insulted. You hurt me feelings. If this was the old Noel, it hurt me feelings. Arduros is only filling in the gap left behind by Alpha. Yeah, we did have a bit. I don't want to get into it again because I got quite emotional just at the end of me and Lee's conversation actually last night, because obviously Alpha was brought into the conversation, and I was telling him I was scrolling through who I was subscribed to, because I wanted to shorten me subscribe list because there's a few twats that I didn't want to follow. And as I was scrolling down, I seen Alpha's channel, and I went into it and I popped on a video, and I got very emotional. Have to say, as Lee said, we really do miss him. But hopefully he's looking down, and he's probably laughing his fucking head off at me right now, saying, "Oh Jesus, he's off again." But yeah, we do miss him here. and he won't be forgotten. We'll keep his memory going, as we said, and we will be doing those Blake Seven watch alongs. We'll be continuing on from where he left off on his channel. So what we'll do is before we actually do our ones, I will obviously post the old ones that he had done with Lee and others, and yeah, and then we'll go and we'll do ours. We got 12 people waiting, 12 people watching right now. I'm just giving it a few more minutes just to see if anybody else comes in, and I'm actually sharing the link as well, so that's why the numbers are going up. So just bear with me for a second while we there we go. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. Avon lives, Alpha lives. Exactly. We got Chris in the chat as well. Yeah, it was nice to reminisce a bit last night, but I did. I got very Lee will tell you, I got very emotional last night because I was thinking of the back and forth that we always had, and you know, all of the banter. And of course, my nickname for him was Mr. Passive Aggressive. He loved to wind me up, I have to say. So yeah, as I said, Arduous, don't take that to heart. It's just the way I am. And it's not personal, never is. It's just I do get very very passionate about what I'm talking about, obviously. Um and of course we do sometimes, we might disagree with each other, but that's the fandom for you anyway. Anyway, right, we got 15 people watching, so we might as well actually get into this now. So apparently it is a clickbait article, but I will read it. We'll see what they have to say. I'll give me your opinion. So as we're I'm not going to read the whole article, obviously. I'll read the parts that obviously might be of interest. So let's do it. So, is the Doctor Who Centenary special in trouble? Well, I can answer that question already and say I do think it is in trouble. Anyway, they say Jodie Whittaker's regeneration should be the focus, but a host of guest stars are returning, and returning foes risk making the story overstuffed, argues Hannah Watkin. And Hannah is obviously a journalist for the Radio Times. So, yeah. Well, they did the same with Peter Capaldi's last episode. They brought in the Fourth Doctor, and a lot of fans did criticise and say it kind of took away from Peter Capaldi's regeneration. So, we'll see what they have to say here. So, in the thrilling trailer for Doctor Who's Centenary special, there was nothing thrilling about the trailer. We discover a whole host of exciting characters will be joining Jodie Whittaker for our final outing as the Doctor. Chief among these returning are 80s companion Tegan and Ace, whose shock comeback has thrilled Doctor Who fans old and new. Well, the new fans are delighted because they get to ship another couple of characters. Old fans, of course, because they're part of our classic era, we're not actually thrilled. We're terrified. Is the truth of the matter. Actually, we're not thrilled. Don't get me wrong. It will be nice to see them, but at the same time, we do have that dread because the Tasman shippers are shipping these now. But anyway, let's continue. But that's not all. Some of the Doctor's more recent allies, including Vinder and unit leader Kate Stewart, were also revealed to be joining the 13th Doctor and her companions, Yaz the Plank and Dan the Clown, once again. And that's all. The Daleks, the Cybermen, and Sasha Dhawan's brilliant incarnation of the Master were also shown to be returned. Clearly, this will be a jam-packed final episode for Whittaker. But herein lies potential issue. While all of these characters returning are thrilling for fans, in an episode which should be Whittaker's final time to shine as the Doctor. It's possible to get a feeling that Doctor Who Centenary special is at risk of being overstuffed. I actually agree with her there, actually. I mean, if it is our last, it is actually quite, it is quite telling that it is her last episode. It is her regeneration, and yet he's decided to bring all of these different characters back. So far, I don't think I see anything clickbaity about that at the moment. I actually do agree. I think there is a possibility. Actually, it's not a possibility. It's probably a given that she's going to be overshadowed in her own episode, our regeneration episode. This is a problem we've seen hit showrunner Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who before. In last year's incredibly ambitious 6-part story, Flux. There was nothing ambitious about Flux. What are you talking about? The show was eventually let down by just how much was crammed into a small runtime. Flux was a story so complicated that... Right, hold on. I want to dismiss this crap that Flux was complicated. Flux wasn't complicated. And if you're saying it's complicated, well, then I'm just going to call you out for what you are. You're a dope, right? It was not complicated, right? It was all over the place. And it made no sense, yeah? It wasn't complicated at all because his writing is not that complicated, right? But even when he does write something, he doesn't know which direction to go in. There was nothing complicated about Flux. We've got some of the most intelligent Doctor Who fans who still don't know what was going on. And it actually even proves that he didn't know what he was doing because he went and did a 15-minute video after Flux fucking premiered. Right? After the last episode premiered, they did a 15-minute video on their YouTube socials to explain what he was trying to do. Okay? That's down to him because his writing wasn't good enough. Don't say it was complicated because it wasn't complicated. It's been the worst writing that we've had. His writing actually gets progressively worse each series. The Doctor herself ended up having to split in 3 parts in a finale in order to stand a chance of tying everything up. Certain plot lines, such as Kate Stewart's Earth-based struggles against Craig Parkinson's wonderfully slimy Grand Serpent. There was nothing wonderful about the Grand Serpent either. While intriguing, ultimately unnecessary. Even the serious apparent main villain Swarm and Azor ended up feeling annoyingly in the way and insignificant. Exactly what Lee actually said. Lee thought they had great potential and then he feckin' ruins them. They were the most interesting two, actually, those two in the whole series, Swarm and Azor, and he ruined them. Overall, Flux was a series trying to do too much. By contrast, Chibnall's era of Doctor Who has arguably been the strongest in some of its most self-contained stories. I'm actually getting bored reading this. Some of the strongest. Have you looked at the ratings, love? Seriously, what? Like, if this was on paper, I'd wipe me ass with it. Yeah, this is toilet paper. Self-contained stories. Rosa. Rosa was racist and a disgrace. Resolution was an absolute joke. Nicholas Tesla Night of the Terror was an absolute joke. Spring to mind an excellent examples of Doctor Who at its best. If that's Doctor Who at its best and you think that's Doctor Who at its best, you shouldn't be writing articles about Doctor Who. Seriously, you should not be writing. And then she compares them to successes like Blink and Vincent and the Doctor. Don't ever insult those 2 episodes by comparing Rosa, Resolution, and Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror to Blink and Vincent and the Doctor. And even though I do think Blink is a little bit overrated because the Force Weeping Angels story, those 3 stories do not touch Blink. And it definitely doesn't come anywhere near Vincent and the Doctor. I hate the way have you always noticed this though, with articles like that and with people on Twitter that are very influential in the fandom, they will always say, oh, this was great. It reminds me of a certain episode that happened about 15 years ago, and to try justify it. No, You're wrong. Rosa was an absolute disgrace of an episode because it misrepresented. There was misrepresentation in it. In Resolution, well, we won't talk about that. But all I'll say is, if you're a gay man, you're killed off in 20 seconds. And then you've got Nicholas Tesla in Night of Terror. Well, it was supposed to be about Nikola Tesla, but we've seen how that story went. Meanwhile, the complex stories such as Flux's final episode, it wasn't complex. The Vanishers seemed to run away from Chibnall's control. I mean, I don't know what these fans are saying, or this journalist is saying. So the Centenary is at risk of having this happen again. I don't think this is clickbaity so far, folks. Some people, and I mean, Ardress is not the only one that told me. A couple of more people on Twitter told me it was clickbaity. I mean, she does make a valid point. I mean, there's all these characters coming in, all these villains coming in. It's her last regeneration, and they're bringing Sasha and all back. And who else is coming back that we don't know? You know what I mean? Anyway, let's continue. With so many characters already announced and the expectation that this episode still hasn't shown all its cards, it's difficult to feel confident that the special will do all of its cast justice. No, it won't do all its cast justice because he has too many. And Flux proved that when you have too many characters and you keep introducing new characters on top of the new characters that you've already introduced, you get Flux. It'd be such a shame if so many amazing guest stars and characters are thrown away, especially in Jodie Whittaker's final episode, and yet there is still hope. For starters, it's worth keeping in mind that Doctor Who has had its successes in the past with busier, more involved stories. Complex episodes are part of Doctor Who's DNA, just as much as the ones that give more time to pause. Remember Russell T Davies? Right. I'm sorry. I just had to stop there. Right. This journalist is an absolute clown. Right. Stolen Earth and Journey's End. Yeah. It was actually, in my opinion, it's actually a three-parter. So put Troll Torn Left in there as well. Yeah. There was nothing complicated about that story. And there was nothing complicated about that whole plot thread that he did through Series 4. Fans could easily follow it. Even the public could easily follow it. Right? So that, again, do you see the way they're making comparisons? Right? Because they want you to accept this bull crap. Yeah? There's nothing complex about a Chris Chibnall episode. He's an idiot. Right? He hasn't got a clue. Right? And because he hasn't got a clue and his writing's not up to par, it's not complicated. Yeah? It's just all over the place and it's written poorly, but you won't come out and admit that. So you'll just come out with words like, well, it's complicated. Fans didn't understand it because they're stupid. Doctor Who fans and the British public are not bloody stupid, right? They see what's in front of them, right? And there's 2 million people, less than 2 million people tune in for the last one, all right? It's got to do with the fact that the writing is absolutely dire. Anyway, let's continue this where she brings in Russell T Davies. Remember, Russell T Davies' Stolen Earth, Journey's End, 2008, successfully managed to cram in numerous characters from his era of Doctor Who into a fantastic finale of universal proportions. Yeah, he gave them all equal screen time and was able to do it. But Chris Chibnall is probably going to have 20 bloody guest stars come in, right? And then on top of that, probably Daleks, Cybermen, or whatever other villains he's going to put in. This is his problem. He puts too much salt in the sauce. Perhaps the Centenary special is also at risk. The traits of being an overly full finale to create a classic, long-remembered episode. Well, none of these episodes will be remembered. I don't know where they get these journalists from in the Radio Times at all, to be quite honest with you, but they're quite shocking. They've lost all credibility. Not one journalist in the Radio Times. Well, there's one or two that have come out and said critical things over the era, but for the majority of them, They've praised this era, and it's been absolutely nothing short of a disgrace. Plus, given this special's connection to the 100-year centenary, you could argue that Chris Chibnall simply has to go bigger and beyond to deliver a celebration of the show's biggest successes from throughout its history. Daleks, Cybermen, and companions, old and new, must all be present for this. See, told you, new. Anything less would be missing the mark. I think he's already missed the mark with his whole fucking era. Will you all stop blowing smoke up this man's backside? Yeah, he's a shit showrunner, right? It's not. There's nothing complicated about his era, right? It's so bad. The writing is so bad. That's why it looks like it's complicated and confused, because people don't know what the fuck he's trying to say or trying to do. Part of the joy of Doctor Who today is how large its universe is. Surely it would be wrong to ask for any outgoing showrunner to shy away from celebrating this, even if their track record is less than stellar when it comes to huge finales. Oh my God, she's even saying it there. Encouragingly, the BBC have promised this centenary special will be a feature length, meaning that unlike Flux, comparatively short and overstuffed episodes, this more self-contained narrative should have some time for all of its moving parts. Perhaps this episode will finally give Chibnall a chance to show us that he can do Doctor Who at its busiest. Well, if he can't do Doctor Who at its less busiest, how do you expect him to actually do it at its busiest? Seriously, some of these bleeding journalists are brain dead. So while there are just causes to be cautious ahead of the centenary special, it's probably best to remain optimistic. I've lost all my optimism, love. I'm optimistic about RTD. About all the promises they had in store for us, it might still be, as the Doctor would say, brilliant. No, it won't. And you're only kidding yourself if you think that this pile of crap is going to be brilliant. Now that I've got all of that off my chest, let's see what everybody in the chat has to say. Let's rewind some of these comments up a little bit, and right, let's see. So we got J problem being JFO in the chat. Chris, warped eyebrows too. Who else have we got? We got Ardros, as I said. And Peter Davison's in the chat. Welcome. Sigma later also there. Nicholas Horton. No, perhaps they redefined the word complicated to mean absurd. Oh, I love it, Chris. But look, this is what I hate. This is what I hate about these journalists, right? They're trying to make it out that we're a bunch of bloody ticks, right? That we don't understand what he's doing. No, sorry, love. If you're not willing to call out Chibs, I will. His writing is so bad all over the place that we don't know what the hell he was trying to do. It was so bad that he went onto the socials on YouTube and released a 15-minute video with Jodie Whittaker to try and explain this mess. And if you actually watch the video, they make it worse. Jodie doesn't even know what she's talking about. We got David Fraser in the chat as well. Welcome, mate. Welcome. It's nice to see a new name. Bad Wolf 66 is also in the chat. And yeah. So oh, you're having some food, are you? Good man, Ian. Good man. Get that into you. Get a bit of energy. But I mean, to compare it to episodes that are considered great, right, in the previous eras, and to try and like compare the two, you know, is absolutely shocking. Flux just didn't work because Chris Chibnall didn't know what he was doing. Okay. And the centenary, right? And we know this already because of the last two specials. The Centenary is going to be an absolute joke. And it doesn't matter who he brings back, right? He could bring back everybody. And I mean literally everybody. And he will still not produce a decent story. And this is the big thing. You can have as many of these characters in as you want. And even Flux would have worked if he had of, when he introduced these characters, character developed them. But he didn't. He didn't give them a good story either. And they'd pop in and out at stages, and that was it. It was all over the place. To claim that his era was too complicated for Doctor Who fans to understand is an insult to Doctor Who fans, because Doctor Who fans have had some of the most complicated episodes out there, and even at that, fans have been able to figure out what's going on. Right? This has got to do with his writing being so bad. And if you're not going to be honest with yourself and actually come out and call the man out for how bad his writing has been over these last few years, well then, you know, you deserve to be ridiculed. And the Radio Times is an absolute shambles of magazine, and so is Doctor Who magazine. I'm going to call it out. I don't care. That magazine, under the regime that it's under, is an absolute joke. Absolute joke. All they've ever done is made excuses after excuse after excuse about this era. And I am sick and tired of these people gaslighting us fans and gaslighting the public, trying to make it out that we do not understand or it's too complicated. Again, I didn't want to get angry, but I'm starting to get angry, so I'm going to calm down because she's in bed, right? But how dare that journalist suggest that it was too complicated? There was nothing complicated about it. Jesus Christ, a 3-year-old would have wrote a better bloody script, right? We got Doctor Who fans out there already, like Black Glove Studios, Dominic out there who releases his own stuff, but now is working with Big Finish, has released stuff. They're talented, right? They can write Doctor Who better than Chris Chibnall can, and they're fans, right? It's a bleeding sad indictment when you got articles like Radio Times and journalists defending this absolute tripe. Absolute tripe. I'm telling you, I'm sick. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I am. Right? It was rubbish. Right? And I don't care if you say the people out there, no, it's being toxic again, he's moaning again. I don't care. Right? Because I'm not going to sit here and let Radio Times and the journalists out there say that we're all tick. How fucking dare you? Tick. You probably don't even know who the first fucking Doctor is anyway. Bleeding clown. Probably thinks it's Timeless Child or something. Insulting the fan base yet again. See, this is what they've done. This is what the media have done. They just keep doing it. They can't help themselves, right? Not only did they call us sexist, bigots, and all of this, and racist, and all of this. Now they're calling us stupid. Now they're calling us stupid because we didn't understand what Chris Chibnall was trying to do. Well, if you had wrote something coherent, well, then maybe we would have fucking understood it. And Lee called it, I know, too many characters, and I even said it as well. Too many characters are being introduced. He introduces a new character one week, and then we get another couple of characters the next week. So then there's 4 characters then that you have to develop. And then in the 3rd episode, he introduced more characters. So then that's 6 characters you have to give stories and background to. And he couldn't do it. They haven't cancelled the special. They haven't cancelled the Centenary special. Where did you hear that rumor? You don't mind me asking you. Can you tell me where you heard that rumor? Because I don't want to start shouting, but I need to know where you got that rumor from. Let me know where you heard that rumor. I'll be very interested to see. Adam is back in the chat again. Nice to see you again, Adam. We haven't had you on in a while, mate. We have to get you on soon. I know you've been busy working away, and I know you've got all your new art that you've been doing and throwing up on Twitter, but we have to get you on soon. Well, it's on Bleeding 4chan. Well, look, in fairness, I have posted up some 4chan rumors that actually sound legit, though. But that one, I wouldn't even throw that one. I wouldn't even give that one this. I wouldn't even give that rumor the steam of me piss, man. The Centenary is happening. They're not going to cancel the Centenary because the last episode did so bad. Oh, you saw a video and you can't find it now. Oh, don't mind him. Don't. That's look. That's all you right. Well, then it's false, right? Don't mind him. Don't mind him. Sure, he even steals my rumors and reports on them weeks later. Don't even mind him. I guarantee you, some of the stuff I've said this week will probably turn up in a video of his in a week or two from now, right? Don't be listening to him. Even Lee will tell you that's talking out of his backside. He hasn't got any bleeding connections or nothing. He pretends he does, and then slags me off for talking about Leeds and Yoke, and then he goes and does the same himself. Right? Jesus Christ, man. Of all the people, seriously, don't be listening to him. Peter, or everybody will tell you in the chat. Don't be listening to that guy. Yeah, that guy just has no inside information. Trust me. And he'll report on any old shite just to get the clicks. RG Ross turns around and says, Whittaker can't carry the show with her acting, and Chibnall can't carry it with his writing. So he resorts to gimmicks and stunt casting. Do you know what? I agree with you 100%. Absolutely spot on. That's exactly what he does. Exactly. And you know what? We're not stupid. We're not stupid, right? No offense, right? How do I put this? Right, I know there are some Jodie Whittaker fans that are upset with what he has done, but for the rest of them that think this is the greatest thing in the world, right? They're not Doctor Who fans, right? They don't understand the show. Of course, they'd praise him up to the hilt. And if they actually think that that's complicated, well, then it proves what we've said all along. These fans are stupid, and that's exactly what they are. And I don't care if I get called toxic. That's what you are. These are fake fans. These are stupid. You don't understand the Doctor, just like the showrunner that actually took over, just like the female Doctor that you have. None of these people understand Doctor Who. And then you have stupid journalists like that backing you up with stupid bleeding articles trying to say that we're all tick because we didn't understand what Chibs was trying to do. No, there's no chance. BBC is not doesn't look at BBC does have its problems at the moment, yeah. But the centenary is going ahead, right? Because all the other centenary celebrations. Remember, it's 100 years of the BBC. They will celebrate the 100-year. It could be the last. In fairness, the centenary could be the last. BBC celebrating everything that came 100 years before. BBC is at the moment being hit from all sides, but there's no way the centenary is not cancelled. The centenary is not cancelled, and I can't believe there's actually people swallowing that crap. It's not cancelled, right? They were going to cancel the whole show at one stage, apparently, before RTD stepped in. So maybe that's what's being confused here. But I wouldn't be listening to Ant that, and I have no fear in saying I wouldn't be listening to Ant that comes out of that chap's mouth, right? And all the other people that he listens to on the other side, I wouldn't be listening to any of those, right? Wait for official confirmation anyway. Don't be listening to those people. They don't know what they're talking about. Should they even copy my rumors and then report on them a few weeks later? It's funny, it is. I should start I said it even on Twitter. I should start charging these people. Right? He comes out with a David Tennant. Oh, David Tennant might be. How long am I talking about David Tennant on my channel? You remember I had Gorminator on, and you remember I had Eddie on, And remember, they said DT is returning. Do you remember? We spoke about this fucking months ago. And now they're talking about as if it's a brand new rumor. Don't be listening to them. There's nothing left to celebrate, says Lee. You're right. I'm sorry, but apart from the superficial tokenizing of Tasman, why are they celebrating an abusive and dysfunctional relationship as being a big win for the LGBT? Good question, Lee. That's actually a very good question. And Lee says, I wish they would have cancelled it. Well, you know what? If RTD hadn't stepped in, if it was anybody else, I would agree with you, mate. I think maybe putting it on a break for a few years would have benefited the show. I still do believe it should have been put on hiatus after RTD. Anyway, I found an interesting Reddit post that stated Jodie's doctor is an imposter. Again, this is something I spoke about on this channel 2 years ago. This is nothing new. Do you know what? I'm actually starting to think that half of these idiots are scanning my channel, listening to what I'm saying, and they're taking out what they need. Because we've spoke about all of this on this channel over the last couple of years. Autumn says, after what he did to Davison, bullying him off Twitter over the casting of Hodie Whittaker, that takes the piss. Big finish, big fall, horrible how Davison has been treated. Keith says it's problematic for a family show to actively celebrate an abusive relationship. Look, I find the whole Tasman thing personally an insult to the people that he's pandering to. He said in an interview just before Flux dropped that he was going to play with this. He was going to play with it, right? I mean, what a way to word it. If you're going to do a relationship like that, should you not treat it with respect? Should you not write it properly? Lay the groundwork to make it look believable? But he's done none of that. But to the Tasman stands, they don't give two flying craps. To them, Tasman is canon now, right? I mean, the next article from the fangirl thing that I said that I'll be covering, right? Someone literally retweeted it and says, "Yeah, the series has been bad, but it's at least Tasman is canon." So the show could be shit, right? But once Tasman is canon, that's all that matters. And that's where we are now in this fandom. And now, do you think the rumor that 13 and Yaz will kiss in the Centenary is true? 13 will kiss Yaz to save her, and Tasman stands will go mad. Do you know what? I said this actually, Jordan, Legend of the Sea Devils. I actually don't care now if they kiss. I actually don't. I think it is a disgrace because it hasn't been handled well. But if it happens, I don't care. I'm not going to go mad about it. Let them kiss. For all I care, let them scissor in the TARDIS. I don't care. There's a double bed in the console room for nothing. You know, if you're going to go full-blooded, if he's going to do it, you might as well go full-blooded with it, Chibnall. Why not give them a sexy, steamy scene in the bed? You know, you might as well go full-blooded with it. But he won't go full-blooded with it because he's baiting fans, right? He's pandering to them, and he's disrespecting the people that he's supposed to be representing. Davison should have been the next creator, says Adam. Interesting one. They're only listening. They only listen to weekender cues. They ignore us actual gays who are offended by Tasman. So listen, I'm serious. I don't actually care if they kiss, and I want to make that clear. I don't care now. I don't care. Listen, before, yes, this would have bothered me. But I've gotten to the stage where, and this is thanks to Chris Chibnall, that I don't give a flying fuck what they do. I actually don't. I don't care what they do. If they kiss, they kiss. Big deal. Big deal. They do it, they do it. But all I will say is that if that's acceptable to the LGBT community, right? Well, then that's fine, fair enough. But to me, I expect it to be developed properly, to have a proper backstory, and for it to actually look like it's an authentic relationship, which it doesn't look like. Okay, saying I would make a great date is not developing this further. This should have happened. If he was going to do this relationship, it should have happened in series 11, right? And developed it all the way through, right? Where you could tell that they both have feelings for each other, but they won't admit it. And then by the time you get to our last season, then you can actually say, oh, yeah, I love you, Yaz. Oh, I love you too, Doc. But then it makes sense, wouldn't it? It makes sense because the groundwork has been laid. There's no foundations to this. But they're okay about it because the rest of the season is crap. But it's all right, folks. Tasman is canon. I know, but I'm just repeating what you said, Lee, by the way. We got Liam Neeson's chin in the chat. Welcome, Mr. Neeson. I hope your chin is doing well. I love seeing, do you know what? I keep saying it every time he pops in, but whoever that is, whatever your real name is, that has to probably be one of the funniest YouTube handles I've seen on this. I love it. Why would gay men be interested in Tasman? Why would straight women be interested in it? Who is Tasman for anyway? Oh, we know who Tasman is for. Tasman is for all these idiots that you see on Twitter. I don't know if you're on Twitter, Adjuros, but if you're not, you're right. Stay off it. But if you're seeing it, man, yeah, it's unbelievable. I believe Colin Baker has rewritten the War Doctor on Big Finish. Well, I don't listen to Big Finish. And again, this is another thing that these fans latch onto is the fact that they're trying to, because you heard a lot of comments, all Doctor Who is canon, right? So that included Big Finish, the comics. That's what they're trying to say, but it's not. It's not. We know that. We've always known that. Big Finish is its own separate entity. Doctor Who, the main show, it's its own canon, right? Big Finish is given the licenses then to do stories that they want, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily canon to the main show. And it never has been that way, but they've tried to include all of that now because it justifies half of this fucking rubbish that they've done. It's for the internet influencers and the self-promoted trendies, says a problem being. And Liam Neeson's chin says, thank you, sir. No problem. It's a pleasure to meet you. As a fellow Irishman, it's nice to meet you, Liam Neeson's chin. I'm on Twitter and all I get in my feed is pictures of cats. Ah, good, good. I've actually joined a few dog sites now because I want to see videos and pictures of dogs because I'm getting sick and tired of all the nonsense. I don't listen to Big Finish either now. I'm very picky about which Big Finish audios I buy. Listen, I probably will eventually get into it, but I'll go for the classic range. And when I mean the classic range, I mean I'll go back to the audios that they were making back in the day, not classic Doctors today because they're doing mad shit with them now. But I'd go back and listen to all the old audios before all this nonsense crept into the fandom. Big Finish is over, says Autumn. Damn right, it does justify half of this crap. Good one, Noel. Exactly, that's what I mean. That's why they're so desperate to let all of us fans know. And even BBC America, if I remember, or was a Big Finish themselves, is Big Finish canon? They actually asked that question. No, Big Finish isn't canon. It's not canon. And I don't care what anybody says. It's not canon to me. Sorry, I'll put it that way. It's not canon to me. And And I think there's a lot of people that would feel the same way as me. It's not canon. Like, they're a good little thing to have. You know what I mean? But they're not canon. They're not canon to the main show, in my opinion. And now, do you think people saying that the 14th Doctor will be revealed on the 14th of May during the FA Cup final is true? Well, I did discuss that yesterday. There is a possibility, mate. But you've also got the World Championship snooker final this weekend as well. Now, if they said in the coming weeks, didn't they? So that could mean that, and as Lee rightly pointed out, that could mean absolutely that. And so, yeah, I would say there is a possibility, mate. The older audios are great. Eight Doctor stuff was fantastic. That's what I said. That's what I've been told. So sad to see where it's gone now. But I've been told, people have told me that if I do start off, I should start off with Paul McGann. So yeah, look, I just can't afford Big Finish audios at the moment. I mean, me and Cheryl can hardly feckin' afford our rent right now. This channel is what's keeping us afloat. So again, thank you guys for the super chats earlier on, because that's literally keeping me and Cheryl a roof over our heads right now. It's gone that bad. We've really struggled this year. But thank you. It's you guys that support us, that keep us going. Watching the videos as well, you know, support us. That brings in the views, and it brings in a little bit of revenue as well. So share the channel, as I said. You know, if you guys like this channel and you know people out there that might actually like this channel, please share it. Get it out there. Let people know about the TARDIS Zone. Every little helps, as they say with Tesco. I love saying that. I don't watch any sport. Now, you don't have to watch it, but what they probably do, classic 80s fanboy, is at half-time, during the FA Cup final, they'll probably show the trailer, because that's what they did with Wimbledon. Wimbledon, they were halfway through Wimbledon or something. They took a bit of a break, or it was the end of Wimbledon or the start. I'm not quite sure, but they dropped the trailer then. And remember, Wimbledon is coming back soon as well, so it could happen during Wimbledon as well. People need to. So there's three scenarios here where there'll be millions of people watching in. The snooker final, world final, which is this weekend. The FA Cup final, which is May 14th, as people have said. And then there's also, as I said, well, the other one, which I've just had to totally fucking forgetting now, which is what was it again? What did I bleed and say? Why it's gone out of my head. Snooker, FA Cup final, and what else did I say? Oh, Wimbledon, right? It's either one of those three at the end of those events where I reckon the trailer or the announcement will be dropped. And it's logical. You listen, you don't have to find rumors or you can make an educated guess here, right? From the past. And remember, this is RTD himself as well. So he's often dropped big spoilers in those moments before. So in fairness, for me, you would probably get more people watching the football. So FA Cup final, I think, is probably the best bet right now. But we'll see. We'll see. I would love them to do a show like that, the classic 80s fanboy. I prefer they reveal they did with Peter Capaldi. Yeah, like they did the show and brought the audience. But because like everybody hates the BBC right now, I don't think that would be a good idea. And that's it. It would cost an awful lot of money just to do that, wouldn't it? Whereas if you did a simple trailer like Chibs did for Whitaker, they might wait till the Wimbledon final like the last time. Exactly, mate. Exactly. It's either Wimbledon final. I'll tell you now when the Wimbledon final because Wimbledon only announced that they're letting unvaccinated people, unvaccinated tennis players actually compete. There we go. Right, Wimbledon. It starts. Oh no, that might be a bit too far. So the Wimbledon starts on the 27th of June, but it ends on Sunday, the 10th of July. So that might be a bit. Well, I mean, if he drags it on till July, I think fans just want to know who the doctor is now. But the 10th of July is when the final is on. Then you got May 14th, which is the FA Cup final, and you've got the snooker final, which is this weekend. So, if you were a betting person, which one would you go for? Which one do you think? Yeah, I got a split family time. Cheers, everyone. Support, like, and share. I'll be on Twitter here, on, out tonight, off and on. If you all want to chat more about Doctor Who related, I create insane threads. You do indeed. You do indeed. And go and support Adam on Twitter. And as I said, we will have him on very soon, folks, because he's been creating some fantastic artwork that he has thrown up on his Twitter account. It's absolutely brilliant. Some people are saying FA Cup final. Still think everyone's barking up the wrong tree about the announcement. He will tease it. All the NDSs are worth. Some people are saying again. A lot of people are saying FA Cup final. Adam with a $4.99 super chat says, before I go, you think Moffat and Gatiss could reinvent a good Blake 7? Well, do you know who'd be the expert to answer that question? It would be Lee. Would I listen, the rumour was that Chibs was supposed to do it, but now apparently that's being shelved, right? With Chibs doing it. If it was Moffat and Gatiss, the problem that you have with them is when you've seen some of the Doctor Who, right, it could get quite convoluted at times. So I don't know. You'd have to ask the Blake 7 super fanatic Lee what he would think of a Moffat Gatiss reinvention of Blake 7. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it would be. I think it would be interesting. Honestly, look, Moffat can write and Gatiss can write. We know that. It's just sometimes they believe their own hype, and that's the problem, And then that's when things start to kind of go pear shaped for them. But Lee thinks it's time to bring it back. So. Oh no, he said I think it was time to bring back. Would have been about 10 years ago when Paul Darrow was still with us. It's too late now. Would have been nice to see a cameo from Avon. I don't see it happening. Yeah, well, Lee is a very big fan of Avon, so and I actually like him myself. He's one of my favorite characters actually in Blake 7, and I can understand why everybody rants and raves about him. But I kind of agree with him, with Lee there, actually, when he says that, because it would have been nice to see him in a cameo. If they were remaking it, but do a cameo with him in it, I think that would have been beautiful to see. But yeah, it might be a little bit too late. Blake 7 has had it tricky to get right. Exactly. And I think, look, if you think Doctor Who fans are bad, I think Blake 7 fans, especially if there was something they didn't like, would be very vocal. Would be very vocal. So we'll have to, yeah. I mean, look, I mean, the version that Chris Chibnall apparently was supposed to be working on, he was going to gender swap the roles. Um, so yeah, um, apparently because this has gone so bad now, Doctor Who, that's out the window now, which relieved. And guess what? Lee was the first person I actually told, because I knew he was gutted when he heard it. So when I got the news, before I actually went live to tell the rest of you, I'd actually told Lee first. Said Lee, the Chibnall Blake 7 is not happening, and I can tell you, I won't tell you how he reacted, but let's just say it was a glorious moment for him. You could just feel the relief. You could. Um, I know you were really gutted, mate. I remember the night I announced it on this channel. A lot of yous were gutted. I'm just glad it's not happening now under him, anyway. But I do kind of agree, which is now maybe it is a bit too late to do a Blake 7, which is a goddamn shame, really, because you know, don't get me wrong, I found the show hard to get into, right? But once I got into it, I was enjoying it. I think there's other sci-fi shows out there that they could probably that BBC had that they could resurrect. But leave Blake 7. I mean, Blake 7's classic, so leave it as is, And I know they do the big finish audio, so for fans, I think that's enough. I think that's good enough for them. Oh no, Chibs was told he wasn't going to get to do it anymore. Oh, Chibs is not at the moment. Chibs and the BBC are not really they're not really seeing eye to eye right now. Problem being says, I disagree and feel that now is the time to strike. If Moffat and Gatiss did it, there's a gap in British sci-fi market, which also has a huge US and EU and AU market. We'll see how Doctor Who fares first. That was Lee's response to that. Look, I mean, as I said, I think there are other sci-fi shows that they had that they could resurrect. Um, I just don't know. Blake 7 is a difficult one. Exactly, exactly. It depends who's doing it, and then would there be any stipulation? Think about it this way: it could happen. I'm just have to figure in something out here. It could happen if you think about it, because Doctor Who is no longer their responsibility. So there's a gap there. There's actually a gap there. Maybe that's why they've given it to Bad Wolf. Maybe they are bringing back Blake 7. Why not take Terry Nation's original concept for the Destroyers and try and adapt that? Well, again, it depends who would be doing the adapting. You see, that's the problem. Well, look, Adam says, yeah, he's a fan, because they're massive fans. So he thinks, he's voters for those two to do it. I mean, look, yeah, as we said, they should bring back I used to love that show, Randall and Hopkirk. Uh, if I remember correctly, I think it was on, wasn't it on BritBox? I'm pretty sure it was on BritBox because I think I remembered seeing it there when Lee kindly let me use his BritBox to watch some of the classic Doctor Who. It was nice to go through because I actually start watching Only Fools and Horses again on it. And it was brilliant to see that again, because I know they do repeat it on the TV, but they never show it in bleeding order. So it was great to go back and watch Blake said, go back and watch Only Fools and Horses. And I watched One Foot in the Grave as well. And I love keeping up appearances. Listen, BBC used to make some of the best comedy, some of the best sci-fi, and some of the best drama, right? Just go and look at BritBox, right? And look at all the wonderful shows that they have. And then you look at what they're producing today. How did they become creatively bankrupt? Seriously. What about Time Slip, says Ezra Goldstein. Again, see, this is the thing. Would you really want people that work for certain organizations to be writing for these stories, writing these things? See, that's what I mean. Moon of Madness has a spot on there. They let activists run things. So I mean, these shows, it might be people's wet dreams, but then if these activists get onto them, they're going to be ruined. And if Blake Seven is problematic to them, or any of these other shows that you've all mentioned are problematic, well, then they're going to want it changed. And they got Doctor Who changed. Remember, we had ugly white males as the Doctor before Jodie Whittaker came along. By the way, that's a comment made by where someone has been actually posting up screenshots of some of these disgusting, blatantly racist towards white men, with their comments about, and ageist comments as well about Peter Capaldi as well. It's absolutely disgraceful. Casting the male now, especially a white male, has become a toxic thing now in this fandom. And someone actually went as far as to say, well, if they cast another male as the Doctor, I'm going to get sick. And then another one said you were going to live. I've seen the CGI Captain Scarlet and I like it, says TARDIS Time. Yeah, I used to watch Captain Scarlet. Captain Scarlet. I used to love Captain Scarlet, actually. I used to love Captain Scarlet over the Thunderbirds. There you go. And that's controversial. I know it is. But I preferred Captain Scarlet, I have to say. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I think maybe it's... No, it's no. No. See, I've never agreed with that. And I know they did it with Thunderbirds, right? But forget about your live action movies. Forget about your live action movies. In fairness, Captain Scarlet, Thunderbirds, and all those types of shows, if you're gonna remake them exactly the way they were remade years ago. Obviously, you won't be able to see the strings now because obviously they'd be able to, with the technology that they have now, you wouldn't see the strings. But no, I disagree. I don't want look. They never translate well. They did it with Thunderbirds, right? And I'm not a fan of the live action Thunderbirds movie, even though there's some great actors and actresses in it. Thunderbirds live action, in my opinion, just didn't work. Did you watch the modern Thunderbirds CGI remake? I haven't, actually. I want to see the strings, says see Lee again. There'll be a lot of people like you out there because that was part of the whole thing, wasn't it? So I can see where you're coming from with that. I can see where you're coming from with that because there'll be a lot of people that are attached to that because that's what makes it. You're right, Noel. I don't think now is the right time to bring anything back until this whole woke madness ends. Exactly. At the end of the day, look what they've done to Doctor Who. Would you really trust them to do these shows respectfully? That's the question fans should be actually asking themselves. Well, I don't care. Listen, I'm going to say something, and if people disagree with me, that's fine, fair enough, right? But I don't care what color skin the Doctor has. Once it's a bloke, I actually don't. Right? We can't keep getting angry because they've cast a person of color or something in a role. Right? If it's done properly and it's written properly by RTD, why would anybody give a damn what the skin color is? You know, Team America was great because you could see the strings, says Sigma later. I do love that movie, though. Isn't that movie now called a white supremacist movie, and everybody, you know, that watches it is a white supremacist? Uh, I remember seeing comments like that. David travels through time too. Noel, ever seen Stargate? Yeah, of course. Yeah, everybody's seen Stargate. Apparently, they're remaking Star. Oh no, sorry, I'll rephrase. Apparently, Elon Musk wants to buy Stargate now, so he's bought Twitter, and now he's thinking about buying Stargate. So I actually tagged him and I said, "Is there any chance you could buy Game of Thrones as well?" And fix the last season. Team America is so funny. For fuck's sake, says Lee. I don't know what that's for. I don't know if that was something I said. The pendulum is swinging, folks. Elon and Twitter. Trump will be back. Listen, I'm not talking politics, but listen, Trump has already said he's not coming back. And to be quite honest with you, I don't give two flying fucks whether he comes back or not. Right? All he's going to do is when he comes in, he's just going to upset everybody anyway. He said he's staying with his Truth Social, and it's the number one app anyway because Elon Musk has showed that it's the number one app that's being used out there at the moment. No, I look at. I don't really care about Donald Trump. He's gone now. The only reason why I spoke about him when he was president because he wound everybody up, right? But now that he's gone, and I don't care whether what your belief is, whether he lost the election or whether it was stalled, I don't really give a shit. To be quite honest with you, I don't give a fuck about Donald J. Trump. He can stay wherever the fuck he is, or he can go back onto Twitter. It makes no difference to me, right? Yeah, and anyway, I'm. What the fuck? Just not again. Yep. It's nothing got to do with the bread. He was licking some fucking plant down there again, as usual. Ted's after getting sick in the bed. MGM owns Stargate and Amazon. Yeah, he said he was going to try buy it off Jeff Bezos. I wonder if that will happen. Trump was funny. Yeah, that's what I mean. I even said, Charlotte, that's the only reason why, like, I would say out about because he was winding everybody up. But now, like, he's gone. I don't give a shit. He won't be president next because he's probably not even going to run. It's will be someone else. Apparently, Biden's gonna obviously try go for a second term. He's a one-term president. He's not going to get in a second time, but it won't be him. It won't be Donald Trump. So I think people need to get away from their Donald Trump fantasies now. He's done. He's done. He was great for laughs, but now he's gone. You know, it's time America gets serious now with their country now and actually vote someone in that will actually knows what they're doing. Because the last two presidents, right, include this president and Trump, right, this is why America is in the state it's in now. So they need to move on from that and actually bring someone in that knows what they're fucking doing. I don't care if he does. As I said, I don't actually care. I don't actually care, and I don't like talking about politics on the channel, so I'm not going to entertain anymore. Any of that. You can talk about it in the chat if you want it, but I'm not talking about him. I'm done. I don't give a flying fuck what he does, right? Just like I don't give a flying fuck what the rest of them do, right? They can do whatever the hell they want. Doesn't interfere with me. Simple as that. Nicholas says, good night, everyone. Good night, Nicholas. Nice to see you again, and thanks for tuning in for the last few streams. I really appreciate it. So, yeah. Yeah, that's what they used to call the Republic of Ireland, Lee. A banana. Actually, no, I'd rephrase. That's what Bob Geldof, the traitor, called our country a banana republic, and then he pissed off to England and then became one of yours. Oh, no, 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 no. Listen. I'm not saying you can't talk about him in the chat. Go ahead. I'm just giving my opinion that I don't give a flying fuck what he does. That's all I'm saying, right? So if you want to talk about him, that's fine. I just talk amongst yourselves about it. But I'm just giving my opinion. I don't care whether he comes back on Twitter or not, right? Really don't give a shit, right? All I want is Elon Musk to make that platform what he says he's going to make it, which is freedom of speech for everybody. And it can't become an echo chamber, right? It can't, right? Not for the left and not for the right, okay? As Lee said, it must be centralist, okay? And that's exactly what it should be. Please take Bob Geldof back. He won't fucking come back. He hates us. And then he comes back every few years, right? And then he talks about the Troubles. And then he talks about the Irish famine from his English man lens that he has because he's been over there for so long and trying to tell us that we were moany bitches about the famine. And that, we should just get on with it. Like, it's easy for a millionaire to say, isn't it? That lives in England. And then the fucking idiot then is on the Thames then when you are voting to leave bleeding Europe with his bleeding Union Jack. He's a traitor. He could stay over there. And then, do you know what we did? We tried to give him the keys to Dublin. And then he tried one of his publicity stunts where he turned it down. And we said, okay, we're taking it back off you. And then he had to come out and say, oh, I was pulling a stunt. Well, you're not getting the fucking thing. You're not getting it. Get away. You turned it down. Fine. Get the fuck out of Dublin and don't come back. Stay over in London in your little mansion. And you're bleeding. And he took his knighthood as well. Exactly. If Bono got one but doesn't use it, or refused it, he either refused it or he didn't use it. One or the other. Right? I even have respect for Bono for fucking that. Right? So at least he had the fucking sense. Right? Now, all of these Irish people that end over in England, right, always then when they come back here, then they try to tell us how to run our fucking country. Right? Stay over there, right? You decided to live over there, decided to slag your country, your birth, your place of origin, right? And you decided to become a Brit. Stay over there. Don't even class Bob Geldof as Irish. He's an embarrassment. Embarrassment to our country, embarrassment to our ancestors. And he absolutely has no clue about the famine. And for him to speak about it through an Englishman's lens, no offense to any of me English pals here, but it's an absolute fucking disgrace. Traitor. Yeah, and we all know about that as well, Lee, but I can't actually say that out straight. But yeah, Live Aid, Band Aid, whatever you want to call it, I know what you're talking about, mate. Good actor, mate. Good actor, Liam Neeson's chin. But he's Irish. I don't want an Irish person playing the Doctor. It's a British role. And as far as I know, we're not part of the UK. So, well, the last time I checked, we're not part of the UK. So, no. No to an Irish Doctor. No to an Irish Doctor. Unless it was me. Yeah? If he wants to cast me, then fine. Right? But the only reason why I want to be cast because I know all those little shits would lose the plot. Yeah? But no Irish man for the Doctor. What are castles like in Ireland, Noel? I heard you guys have medieval. We do have some beautiful castles. Yeah. I mean, we do have some beautiful buildings. But most of the castles that we have here were built by the Brits. We didn't build our own castles. Remember, we were occupied for over 800 years. So What about an Irish companion? Ooh, actually, I wouldn't mind that. An Irish companion, maybe, yeah, because bit of Irish wit in the TARDIS with the Doctor. I think that would be great. Because I mean, you had Jamie who was Scottish, and you seen how him and Troughton's Doctor uh, interacted with each other, and sometimes they had some great banter. So yeah, that could work. Noel, do you think there's any chance it could be Michael Sheen as the next Doctor? I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know now. Tom Baker is half Irish. Well, half Irish, but he considers himself British, doesn't he? So again, I'm not a fan of an Irish Doctor, not. But maybe an Irish companion. I mean, we did have an Irish man play Moriarty in Sherlock because the guy Andrew Scott, he's Irish. So he played a good Moriarty. I actually think, if you were going to cast a master, he's always been my choice as the if they were going to bring in someone and bring in someone that's Irish to play one of the villains in Doctor Who. I think he'd make a very good master, Andrew Scott. Pretty redhead who is the yeah, but this is the thing, right? I know we do have more redheads per capita than the rest of the world, but you've got to understand, right? There's not many redheaded Irish actresses, right? There's only a few, so you've got a very limited pool there. And the thing about it is, the most famous one would be Saoirse Ronan, isn't that her name? So yeah, we can never get her name right, even though she's Irish. Saoirse Ronan, she's redhead, but she's a bleeding Hollywood actress. And then you've got the other one. What's her name? Lindsay Lohan. She's Irish as well. People don't realise that she's actually Irish. But she's a nutball, you know? She's got red hair. No, you don't need a red-headed Irish bleeding companion. If you've got an Irish accent or a Dublin accent, you're good. That's who I wanted, Richard, Liam. That's who I wanted. And still, I have a soft spot for him. I think he would make a good doctor. Most Irish girls have jet black hair, pale eyes, and skin, says Problem Being. Um, that's what I mean. I don't see many redheads. Even though we do have per capita, they're not. There's not many. We're not full of red. Every woman over here has got red hair. What if they managed to get Colin Farrell to agree to being the Doctor? Would you support him? No, no, I wouldn't. No. Colin Farrell. Look, Colin Farrell's downfall has always been accents, but that was until I seen the Batman, and he did a pretty good accent in that. I actually have to say it's probably his best accent, American accent that he has done. And I thought he was very good in that movie, but no, I wouldn't support Colin Farrell as the Doctor. And I'm going to say something that's controversial. He's actually too big for Doctor Who. He's actually too big for Doctor Who. You need someone who is a big name, but whose career I have to be careful how I word this. Not necessarily their career on the decline, but someone that's not getting as many movies as they used to and are willing to take Doctor Who on. But Colin Farrell is going to be working in Hollywood for a long time. And they've already announced the second Batman, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually going to be in it. That's because redheads are endangered. They're slowly disappearing. Sure, they're actually even the same. There's certain comic book characters as well that have red hair, and then what do? They cast someone with black hair or brown hair and stuff like that. They have it. There is a stigma towards people with red hair, and there always has been, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. The Irish accent is so hard to imitate. Well, I got Cheryl to try do an Irish accent one night, and I nearly fell out of my bed laughing. Well, I was laughing, but I nearly fell out of my bed and broke my neck, man, with the state of it. It sounded like an English accent. It was so bad. Like, she's trying to put on an Irish accent, but it sounded like a bleeding English accent. Seriously, man, it was the funniest thing ever. I said, "Go on, give me your best Irish accent, Cheryl." Oh, it was fucking awful, guys. It was awful. I was embarrassed for her. Oh, I just can't do your accent. It's so hard and all. Yeah, yeah. Well, my Dublin accent is not as deep or as hard as most Dublin accents. Believe it or not. Um, if you heard me ma talk, you probably wouldn't understand her because old fashioned Dublin is different to me and people like me. Our accents are a bit softer. Um, I want the Doctor to be a hero again with a little bit of swashbuckling. Oh yeah. By the way, there's a apparently swashbuckling has a different meaning than what we think it does. And if you go in and check, yeah, because the Geordie stands have been putting it up and the Tasman stands have been putting it up, it has a totally different meaning to what we think it is. All Geordie did was run around with a scrunch face, and yet she took out our screwdriver to solve all issues. Couldn't be any worse than Warwick Davis in the Leprechaun. Listen, Warwick Davis's Irish accent is absolutely disgraceful, but I love Warwick, so we'll just leave that there. But no, his Irish accent is terrible. I just want the Doctor back, exactly. Yes, make the Doctor less stupid and genocide. Oh my god, that's one of the best. You're right, she genocide fucking everybody she did. And remember the poor fuckers in Series 11 and 12 that died because of her. I mean, she has a habit. She has a habit of letting people die for her, doesn't she? This doctor. This doctor doesn't care. Oh, by the way, the next article I'm going to be reading you actually criticizes Chris Chibnall's morals when it comes to murder in Doctor Who. Like, the Doctor will literally lecture someone for killing someone, but yet Dan goes and kills all of those sea devils, and not a word said. So the Doctor Who's moral compass is all over the place as well. Because one minute she's giving out, and then the next minute she seems to accept it. This hand's a fighting hand. Yeah, I wanted his Doctor to be more dark, David Tennant's. He did have a couple of dark episodes where he got to shine, where we got to see the best of David Tennant, in my opinion. Jodie is cruel and cowardly. Yes, she is. Let me sacrifice. Yeah, all the blokes always seem to sacrifice themselves for her, don't they? Like, don't be so stupid. Sacrifice yourself for her. Just throw her into the wormhole or something. Save yourself. So, if the Doctor is immortal, why does Jodie let people die for her and run away? Because she's a selfish Doctor. Because she's one of the most selfish doctors and self-consumed doctors. Sure, even look at her in Flux. It's all about me. I want to know about me. Even though the universe has been genocide, I want to know who I am. Am I the timeless child? The woke don't understand morality or how to construct a moral code. Absolutely correct. Just let any old white dude bite the dust for our coward in chief, Jody. Exactly. You see, Chibs, this is what happens when you make the Doctor can't die. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Oh, let's not get into the timeless child again. I just can't deal with it now, right? I got everything up, which just don't want to be brought back to that again. Um, it's fucking disgraceful. Right, I tell you what, we'll go for another 10 minutes, right? Because I want to get set up for the next one. I don't know if I'll actually, what is it? nearly 2 o'clock. Yeah, I might get the other one done. I might stream after this again, right? But for the next 10 minutes, like we did last night, because I actually enjoyed it. So we'll call this the Q&A section of the stream. So, like last night, if anybody wants to ask me any questions, get them forward in. Now, obviously, within reason, yeah. But if you want to ask me any questions like some people did last night, what was the very first Doctor Who episode I watched, stuff like that. So if you have any questions for the next 10 minutes, I will take questions and I will answer the best of my ability. You can talk about, listen, it doesn't just have to be about Doctor Who. If you just want to ask me my favourite movie or least favourite movie or music-wise or anything like that. Who does your hair? I do. I do. Well, I don't actually do my hair. What I've done is I've just let it fucking grow out of control and I put it in the ponytail now. Yeah. I don't put it in a man bun. So, like, because if I start putting it in a man bun, you would probably all slag me off, wouldn't you? All looking all gone all millennial. But no man bun. No man bun. But I'm thinking of getting my hair cut now because it's getting out of control. But that's a good question. Who does your hair? I knew Lee would ask something like that. Oh, you're a fucking legend. Anyway, TARDIS Time says he misses the Doctor. L'Oreal because it's worth it. Yeah, it shows. Shut up, you cheeky bastard, Lee. Cheeky little fucking swine. What are you trying to say? Anyway, I don't use L'Oreal shampoo. I just use some generic fucking brand. No, what are your opinions on art like Van Gogh? Yeah, well, I am planning a trip to Amsterdam. It'll come when we can afford it, but Cheryl wants to get me out of the house for a weekend and send me over to Amsterdam. I was thinking of checking out the museum and going in and having a look at all the artwork. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of art. Do you prefer rice pudding or tapioca? I prefer rice pudding. Lee says tapioca every day. I prefer rice pudding. I love me rice pudding. Interesting question. Interesting question. Let's see. So we got the art one, tapioca or rice pudding is rice pudding. Did anybody see the Come Fly With Me Dalek promo for Series 6? What is your favorite classic Doctor? Oh, favorite classic Doctor obviously has to be Tom Baker. But as I said, I think Pertwee is very good and Troughton's very good and Hartnell is actually very good. I mean, those four, even though Peter Davison was me Doctor, I mean, those three, I should say, Troughton, Pertwee, no, four. Those four, I think those years from Hartnell to Baker are the golden years. I know they say it's Baker's era that's the gold, but I'd call them all the golden years of Doctor Who. Do you partake in a certain smoke? You really want me to answer that question? I refuse to answer that question. What do you think of Peter Cushing's Doctor Who movies from the 60s? We've done them on the channel. I actually like them. I actually like them a lot. And apparently they're actually going to be shown on a big screen somewhere in the UK. Tapioca and strawberry jam. That's what you want. Ew. You're disgusting. You're as bad as Cheryl, man. Tapioca with strawberry jam. Ugh. Ugh. Oh. Do you ever think there's any chance Russell starts at Doctor 1 or will it be Doctor 14? Ah, Jesus. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if look, It's either going to be rebooted or it's going to be ignored, one or the other. I can't really answer that question. They're getting a 4K release. That'll be brilliant. They'll look so much better. We'll have to actually do them again when they release on 4K. Ever had sweet potato pie? I haven't. But I do like sweet potatoes, but I've never had a sweet potato pie. Some people just lack taste. Ugh. Tapioca and strawberry jam. I've heard it all now. Now, what do you think the time maker, or why do you think the time maker never returned? Again, I don't know. There's other classic villains as well that could have returned that never returned either. For example, Zootek. Because if you remember at the end of that episode, Tom Baker's doctor wasn't sure whether Zootek was actually dead. So I don't know, man. Just sometimes, and it could have been the time as well. Maybe he just didn't fit into any of the ideas that they probably had. There's so many great villains to return. I agree with you, Lee. And Zootek is one of them that I've always wanted. Not under this, obviously, this era is finishing now, so thank God it never happened under Chibs. But I'd love to see Zootek return under RTD. Absolutely. Cool. I just noticed that you're still on. Am I sorry about the article and post? Well, I've done the article. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to talk about the rumors on here. I'm just going to throw them up on the YouTube channel after this video while I'm getting ready for my next stream because I'm very busy tonight. So I'll throw them up like I've thrown up all the other ones because they do look like they're worth checking out. I hope Zootek isn't Tectoyun. Well, they killed off Tectoyun, but in saying that though, they killed off the other lads and they're back. Where are you a fan of the Undertones? Yeah, I love me, man. Yeah, well, I like a few of the songs. Don't speak too soon. He's still got one more episode. Ah, feck off you. Why would you have to say that? Seriously. What, Lee? What are you trying to do to us, man? Seriously, man. Seriously. And which Hardy boys do you prefer, Matt or Jeff? Jeff. But I heard that they're on some other wrestling show now, which is sad. Seriously, Lee. Why? Why, man? Why would you say? Why would you say that? You're trying to wind me up now. You're trying to wind me up now. You said the BBC demanded Chips leave Doctor Who in a tried upstate for the next showrunner. Do you think he still has to know? I'll tidy up, you mean? Well, again, this is the debate that we've had tonight about the timeless children and with the people that are returning, and people are asking whether he'll retcon and stuff or whether he'll do. Well, he has been told to do it, so if he's bringing back the Master and the Lone Cyberman, I think, if you look at it logically, I think he's going to do something about it, yes. Will we get the retcon that we want, though, is another thing. Will he retcon it if RTD is just going to do his own thing? He might just say, well, fuck it, I'm just going to do my own thing now here because you're going to do something totally different. I would like to still think that that's the plan, and we'll just have to see what happens. Did you see the Alex Kurtzman article on the mummy? I did. I did. And he was absolutely right. You did ruin the mummy. And it was the worst thing in your career. I'm not going to totally slag you off because, you know, you did do Hawaii 5-0 and you were part of a show called Lost that I liked. So I don't think you've done everything wrong, but you've definitely screwed up Star Trek and made it a joke. So Kurtzman Trek, yeah, I think that's up there with the Mummy. Um, but the Mummy is definitely his worst because that was supposed to set off the whole Universal franchise, wasn't it? Wasn't it Universal? And it never happened. It never happened. And the thing about it is, Tom Cruise doesn't normally do a dodgy movie, so I'm pretty surprised that he thought this script was good because we've all heard the stories about Tom Cruise. He if he doesn't like something, he'll change it because nobody will say no to him because he runs his own fucking production company as well, and look at his movies, they do well. And Noel, can you thank your sauce for all they have done for this fandom? Our sources, yeah. I know they can't reveal themselves, but I hope they know they are appreciated. Yeah, well, look, again, it's always nice when the sources do come true, but look at they do know that you guys uh have appreciated everything that we've put out there, and they always congratulate me when something you know comes through, and I'm like, what you congratulating me for? I'm just reporting what you guys told me, so give you ourselves a pat on the back. I don't take the credit for that. I only take the credit for putting it out there and talking about it, but they're the ones that give it to me in the first place. Are you a fan of Derry Girls? Absolutely. I love it. Now, I haven't watched this season yet, so I don't want to know what's happened because we're waiting for it all to drop, right? We have it on Serious Link, so we're waiting for all the episodes and then we're going to watch it all in one binge watch. That's what me and Cheryl will do, but Cheryl loves it and I love it. Um, Tom Cruise was very strict with his crew on the set of The Mummy, but he was really nice to us. Exactly, and you seen him when he was doing the Mission Impossible, where he was giving out to his staff because they were fucking up the work for the little guy. Like like no matter what you say about him or his religion or whatever, that's been a lot of people have said that he actually is really a nice man, and he does when he works and he has a project, he's very serious about it, and he's very he does I mean, he was giving out to them, and we've all heard that audio where he's literally giving out that you're putting people out of work. Like he literally laid into someone because he didn't wear it because he put other people out of work. So I'll give him that. I'll give him that. Whether you agree with masks or not, though, it showed that he cared about the people that he was working with, even the little guy. And that's nice. You like to hear those stories because we all know actors and actresses can be arrogant and egotistical, and he probably does have a bit of an ego. But if he's nice to his staff, that shows that he's a good human to me. Um, Universal should do new monster movies, but well, you see, the Mummy, they were gonna did it was good. The Mummy was the start of it all, and then they were gonna expand out and make a whole big universe. But because the Mummy failed, they shelved it. So I don't think it's going to happen for a few years now. Lee worked as an extra on the Mummy. Lee is an extra. Did you just not know that? Lee has worked on a Disney Star Wars as well, but he can't say because he's seeing some shit go down. But he obviously he signed. He signed a was it a disclosure? He can't say anything basically. He has to, and you know what? Yeah, and I could say this. I've even like gotten backstage to try get information out of him, and I tell you, it's like trying to get blood out of a stone. He won't open his mouth. He's very like that's what I mean. That's why I trust Lee 100%, man. This is why he's a good friend. You tell him not to say anything, he won't say nothing. Which professional wrestler do you like, Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair? Hulk Hogan. But they're not my favorite wrestlers. My favorite wrestler was grown up. Actually, I like the rivalry between The Rock and Triple H. So The Rock was my favorite wrestler. I loved The Rock. Of course, it fails. They hired Kurtzman. They did. So unless there's any more questions, let me see. I might have missed some, so I just want to make sure that I haven't missed anybody's questions. So Lee worked on the Mummy. We did that one, and then asked me about my favorite wrestler there. Mine is The Edge and CM Punk, Dean Ambrose as well. Kane and The Undertaker were my favorites. I did love Kane and The Undertaker. I didn't like him when they changed him into the the Badass? Was it American Badass? Was that him? Undertaker? I didn't like that at all. And didn't they reveal Kane's face as well, as which I thought was a bit fucking dumb, in my opinion. But I didn't like John Cena as a wrestler. Can't stand him actually. But yeah, I did have a soft spot for The Rock. He was very entertaining. But their rivalry and the rivalry Triple H had with other wrestlers as well. It was all that's when wrestling to me was at its peak, in my opinion. So there you go. Yeah, the original Universe monster movies like Dracula, Frankenstein will be public domain soon, so Universal should really think. Hold on, should really think. Where is it? Where did that comment go? Should really think about doing a new version. Yeah, might be. I think it's no. I think it's dead. They should lease it out or something, or let's sell the license to someone, or rent it out for a few years. Let someone else do it. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Let's see. Impossible not to love The Rock. Exactly. Melina has to go to work and she's still sick. God love you, love. Look, take care. Look after yourself, yeah? African or European? What African or Europe? I don't know what you mean by that. Do you watch professional wrestling now? Well, it's not. See, this is the thing, right? Right. I'm sorry to say this, right, for fans of wrestling, but WWE, AEW, and all of those other organizations, it's not real wrestling. It's entertainment, right? They do flippity flips. It's dangerous what they do, but it's not wrestling, right? Wrestling is what you see in high schools and you see in the Olympics. That's wrestling. This isn't wrestling. This is entertainment. And I hate the way they call it a sport. It's not a sport, right? They're acrobats that do a few moves and pretend to slap each other in the head. It's not wrestling. Confirmed, no, I'll never watch Monty Python. Do you know how many years I've watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail? And we did them on Rabbi's channel, if I remember as well. Jesus Christ, you expect me to remember certain lines in certain movies? I haven't seen them in years. I think we did. No, actually, we watched on Rabbi's channel. I think we watched. What was the one we watched? What was the one we watched? See, I can't even remember what we watched on Rabbi's channel. But you are asking me to remember stuff that I seen years ago when I was a kid. I haven't watched a Monty Python movie in decades. Bar the one that I watched on Rabbi's channel about, what was it, 2 years ago. I don't go back and watch these movies again. You never forget your... I was a kid. I was a kid. And I haven't really watched them much as an adult. So, like, I mean, look, like, I don't know what yous are, why I'm getting, like, all tied up in a knot over it. Well, disavow me all yous want. Disavow me all yous want. Right? I've watched them all. I'm not, yeah, no excuse, rewatched them multiple times. Yeah, but I'm not like all you guys. I'm not, and this is going to be controversial. Like, they were funny movies, but like, I wouldn't go out my way to watch them all again. They were of their time, and when I watched them, when my parents were watching them, I watched them, and that's it. And then, as I said, I haven't watched them through my adulthood, except for the time that we watched that one movie with Rabbi on his channel. That's it. And I agree with you. I prefer the Carry On movies. I actually remember them more than I do the other ones. But I have watched them all. But as I said, as a kid, I watched those movies because my mum and dad loved those movies. He says, "Okay, I'm done with this channel." You haven't watched Life of Brian? Yes, I have watched Life of Brian. That's my mother's favorite movie. But again, I've watched all of these movies when I was a kid. And what's the big deal anyway if I haven't watched them again? Like, I don't know why everybody is kind of like having a bit of a, or taking the piss out of me because, I forgot a line in a movie. As I said, it's like when Lee was trying to get me to watch Blake Seven for ages and ages and ages. I won't watch these things unless I really want to watch them, right? And I just have no desire to watch the Monty Python movies again. Cheryl recently watched one, right? She actually even asked me, and I'm not in the humor. No, I don't want to watch it. Not in the humor. I'm trying to think of the one that we actually did on Rabbi's channel. Lee, you were there. You should know. I'm going to put you on the spot now. What was the movie we did? I'm a heretic now. Burn him. Burn him. Life of Brian is actually. is actually funny. I do know that if I'm correct in saying, I think the Vatican weren't too happy about that movie, um, especially the scene where they're on the cross. Did you ever watch Not the 9 o'clock news? No, I didn't. Uh, I have watched it so many times I can't remember which one we did. Possibly the Holy Grail. Yeah, see, I don't remember either, mate. But yeah, maybe you know what? Maybe I should watch these fucking movies again. Get yous all off me back. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think it was banned over here as well, Lee, for a while. I think it was banned over here for a while. Um, Look, I'm a weirdo when it comes to movies, mate. Right? And you guys have to understand this. The same with TV shows. It took Lee literally, I don't know how many months to convince me to watch Blake Seven with him. Right? Um, and old movies like that, especially old movies like that, unless I'm in a unless I'm in a particular humor, I won't watch these. I watched them once as a kid, and that was kind of enough for me. I know they're cult classic with all you guys, but once was kind of enough for me. The Vatican didn't get that Brian wasn't Jesus, even though Jesus was in the bloody film. If it was banned in England, it certainly was banned in Catholic Ireland. Fucking right. I have to take a shower because I have to work tomorrow. Good night, everyone, says Shelley. Good night. Um, I do want to rewatch. I want to do a rewatch of George Burns' "Oh God, You Devil." A rewatch. Hmm. Maybe we'll have to bring back the movie zone again properly. We'll see. We'll see. We will see. Because like fucking hell. He's Oh God, I love the way you are giving me stick for because the last time I watched these movies was when I was a kid. I wouldn't even mind someone also even asked the fucking same question, but you said slagging him, you are slagging me. So yeah, maybe we will do a Monty Python season and do the movies just to get you all off me back. Are you a fan of the Godzilla films? I'm going to say something controversial here. I'm a fan of the '90s movie, even though the one with Matthew Broderick, even though everybody takes the piss out of it, I actually like it. But do I like the new updated versions of Godzilla? I think they've been a bit of a letdown, actually, if I'm quite honest with you. But good CGI, good CGI. Sigma says, confession, I've never watched Monty Python. Yeah, well, I wish I could say the same now with all the grief that I'm getting. So yes, I am a fan of the Godzilla movies. Well, I am a fan of them. I just, the first one was great. Second one, mm. Godzilla versus Kong, was a dumb, fun. Yeah, it was certainly fucking dumb. I can tell you that, alright. Um, Listen, they haven't made a decent Kong movie, right? They did in the old days. But the modern Kong movies, even the Peter Jackson one, was an absolute disgrace. Seriously. No, they haven't. Shit movies, actually. Um, Again, there's certain. Uh, See, this is why you have to give credit to Hollywood in the 30s and the 40s and stuff like that. When they were doing King Kong and all it is, they got them. They got them right. You know, you think with modern day technology, CGI, and maybe a better caliber of writer, you'd get a better story. But the Kong movies have been shit. Very disappointed in the Kong movies, actually. And Jack Black in the Peter Jackson one just annoyed the hell out of me. I wanted him to die in the very first scene. He was that fucking annoying. I wasn't picking it. I was scratching it. No, you weren't picking it. Shut up, big nose. Well, look. Maybe we will do a Monty Python Jordan the Year. So I can redeem myself in the eyes of all you lunatics. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Do you know what? Actually, I'm going to say something controversial. I only remember the films that I actually really enjoyed. I'm just digging a bigger hole for myself right now, but I don't give a shit. Listen, I'm not gonna do the other stream tonight. I'm gonna do it tomorrow instead. Carry it over until tomorrow. Atone for your sins, Noel. I tell you what, we will do a Monty Python uh movies on, but we'll wait. We'll wait because there's so much going on right now. We'll do it when the timing is right. But yeah, we'll bring yous all on, especially all you little fuckers that have been slagging me tonight. We'll bring yous on and we'll embarrass yous. Money messing. Uh you're just saying that for the sake of it. You're just saying that for the sake of it. I'd like to answer this question. I'd like you to answer this question, if I may, in two ways. First, in my normal voice, and then in a kind of silly, high pitched whine. Yeah, that high pitched one. Yeah, yeah. You haven't seen the 1977 Kong movie. Did you not hear what I said? I said all the old movies were great. It's the updated Kong movies that I didn't like. Right? The updated versions that I don't like. All the old movies, the black and white ones, they did one in the 70s as well. And if I'm actually correct in saying, they did another one again after that. Hold on. Was it? I don't know if it was called. What was it called? Was it that one? There it is. So you had King Kong. King Kong Lives. Yeah, that was the other one in 1986. Then you had the Mighty Kong in 1998. Right. So take away the Mighty Kong and King Kong Lives from King Kong 1976 all the way to the 1930s are the best King Kong movies. All the other King Kong movies since then have been absolutely rubbish. Rubbish. And the original 1933 version is brilliant. I love that movie. Love it. Black and white as well. Yeah, it's a great movie. So there you go. So yes. So there we go. So we will leave it there. That was a nice question to end with. But yeah, maybe one day they'll make a decent King Kong movie, and I'll be alive to see it. But they haven't made a decent one. And the problem is that they've either made them too small or too big, and also just the scripts are bad. The scripts are bad. I mean, look, Kong versus Godzilla. I will admit it was stupid, but it was fun. I will admit it was fun, but I don't want a stupid fun movie, right? I want King Kong to be terrifying, right? You see him pick up something and literally bite their fucking heads off, and you see their entrails come out, blood all over the place. Make it gory. Him squashing people, standing all over them. You know, good bit of action. You know, make it really gritty. You know, they haven't done that. Jack Black was just, oh man, he ruined that movie. He actually ruined that movie. Just him alone, repeating the same stupid fucking line through the whole movie. Oh, for fuck's sake, man. Right. Sod off is right. It was my acting that killed the film. Did he actually say that? Did he actually make that quote, PD? Because if he did, he's absolutely spot on. And I don't know what Peter Jackson was thinking. Jack Black is a good actor. I'm not going to lie, and he's a great comedian, right? But he should never have been in a Kong movie. I'm sorry. I know you wanted a bit of comedy element in it, but I think that's where they went wrong. King Kong is not supposed to be a fucking comedy, right? It's not supposed to be a comedy. It's a fucking romance story. Boy meets girl. Boy goes on rampage with girl. You know? He said, no, he said it was beauty that killed the best. I changed it to what it really should have said. But no, the modern Kong is meant to play into the cartoon series from '66, where he becomes a friend to humanity. Yeah, well, oh, Jesus. Yeah, but this is the thing, right? And this is where it gets a bit, where I get annoyed a little bit. See, it's the same with Star Wars as well, right? You've got all these Star Wars accounts saying, "Oh, well, it doesn't really, yeah." Right, just got to let you know, right? Most of the general public don't give a fuck about Star Wars comics or what they done in other shows, right? Same with King Kong. Nobody's gonna pick up fucking cartoons or read comic books, right? They don't. They just watch the fucking movies. Now it's only die-hard fans that will know all the ins and outs, yeah? But for the general public, they don't give a shit about magazines. They don't give a shit about comics. They don't give a shit about cartoons. So this is another thing as well. I think all these purists, you need to understand that these franchises have to be made for a mainstream audience. You know? It's the same with the Suicide Squad movie that came out. Like, that starfish thing was in a comic. Like, sorry, I have to tell you, it didn't translate well on screen. I actually think that movie's an abomination. And I don't know how everybody was praising that movie. The Suicide Squad was shocking. I actually think the first Suicide Squad movie is better than the one that we got. Seriously. And that first movie is slated to bits. But I'd rather watch that one over the one we got with Peter Capaldi. And Peter Capaldi was wasted as well. Right? But that latest movie, Polka Dot Man and all of them. And like, I think the other side that normally complain about, like, oh, they always portray a father as bad. Well, he had bad dads in that, but nobody batted an eyelid. Oh, but it's a great movie. Great movie it is. The Suicide Squad was shit. And I still stick to that. It was shit. Starfish, or whatever you call it, Star Lord or Star fucking face hugger, shit. Polka Dot Man, shit. Right? Everything about that movie was shit. Peter Capaldi was wasted as Brainiac or whatever his name fucking was. Dr. Brainiac, whatever the fuck. Who gives a shy? Shy. Fucking hell. And then they kill off half of the fucking Suicide Squad in the first few minutes of the movie. Fuck off. Fuck off. Just to give us these new characters. Right, stick with your Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn, whatever your name is. Peter Capaldi, you said with the great scripts, yeah, he would have been the greatest doctor. Well, look, even though he had bad scripts, he elevated some of them. So I would say he still is he's up there as one of the best. I put him in me holy trinity. Pertwee, Baker, Capaldi. The first one was better. Man. In the second one, Polka Dot Man being up for a minute, the rest I had zero interest in. Exactly. Listen, I'm not, and I got criticised for that, Chris. I got hammered for saying, because all of the rest of them were saying that this movie was great. And I says, have yous all actually lost the plot? Yous have slagged off better movies, right? And said you hated them because they cast a black actor in a role that shouldn't have been cast, but you slated the whole movie even though the movie was great. And now you are trying to tell me that the Suicide Squad, with that assembled cast, with that starfish looking fucker, right? I'm sorry, it looked like a joke on the screen. The villains. Listen, people have. I think James Gunn lost the plot a little bit here, right? It's not a fucking comic book. Yeah, you might be making a comic book movie, but those silly little things that are in the comics, you can't fucking translate them onto fucking screen. It looks fucking stupid. And then the starfish, I don't know if they face hug in the comics. I don't give a shit anyway. But then they were doing the face hugging shit, ripping off Alien. The first movie, actually, the extended cut of the first Suicide Squad movie is way better than the original version that they gave us. But seriously, the first Suicide Squad movie is much better. And Lee is saying goodnight again. Poor Lee's trying. Lee, good night, pal. And listen, thanks for chatting with me yesterday and coming on today and stuff like that. But I'm just gonna rant for a few more minutes and then I'm gonna head off myself. Bye now. Goodbye, Lee. But seriously, man, I still don't get that. I still don't get that. I still don't get how everybody rants and raves about that movie. And there were people out there that literally hammered me for saying that that movie was shit. It was shit, and I'm not going to hide behind the fact that it was any more than just shit. It was shit. And then somebody, and I even called out people because she's our line. He's our line. He's wanted this movie to be so good. He's wanted it to succeed, right? And I think what happened was because we got a shit bunch of movies before this movie came out, people tried so hard to like this movie. Even in people's video reviews, you could see that they're actually struggling to say anything good, but they're still saying this movie is great. It's just a mind-boggling. The movie was crap. End of. And I still have the same opinion. Right? And if I watched it again, I'd still think it's shit. Right? And again, John Cena was in the movie as well. I don't like that fucking chap. Never have, and I never will. And Peter Capaldi was wasted. And that was another thing as well that turned me off it. But there were one or two laughable scenes in it that were funny. But other than that, look, the best scenes out of that movie were the Harley Quinn scenes. They were the only scenes that I actually truly enjoyed in that movie was the Harley Quinn scenes, right? She the Margot Robbie, again, can't say anything about her playing, can't say anything about how she plays Harley Quinn. She was brilliant. But that was it. That's all. That's the only one that I enjoyed in the movie was her. So yeah, there you go. I mean, if the movie was so good, how come there's not another one being made anyway? Because I haven't heard anything about another Suicide Squad movie, so that must have put an end to fucking that. If it's so great, why didn't they get another sequel? You know what I mean? James Gunn should have stuck with Guardians of the Galaxy. Anyway, we'll leave it there because of, don't want to keep ranting on about a fucking movie that I can't stand anyway. But I will say this: watch the Batman. Um, as I said, not bad, but not great. Half an hour too long. Catwoman didn't need to be in it. The highlights were Penguin. I did like the your guy that played the Riddler, but I just couldn't understand why he sounded like Bane. But Paul Dano, he did a good job. I'm not going to lie. Patterson actually did surprise me. I did say at the time, give him a chance to prove that he could be a good Batman. I did think he was a good Batman. Um, but the people making out that he's the best Batman that we've had, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. And to actually say that the Batman is better than the Dark Knight or even the Dark Knight trilogy is I'm sorry, you're wrong. The Batman is not even up there. Those three movies, even even the Dark Knight Rises, which is considered the weakest one out of the trilogy, is better than the Batman. What's interesting is people criticize John Cena's Peacemaker in the movie, then they love his TV series. Makes no sense to me. Listen, I watched one episode of that and I turned off. I turned off. I know, and you are right. It's hypocritical, mate. It's hypocritical, but look, they don't even know they're being hypocrites anymore. Just, I'm like you. I just don't get it. I'd be baffled by some of the fucking hypocritical nature of fandom, but it happens. But I mean, the new one is Patterson's the best Batman. It's the best movie. It's got the best lighting. The visuals are the best. The Batmobile's the best. This is the best. That's the best. The best as ever. No, Patterson was a good Batman, and he did do a good job. He was a good Batman. The Batmobile, I did actually like the Batmobile. I do like the new Batmobile, but the movie was a half an hour too long. It tried to be like Seven, that detective movie. Now I know Batman in his early days did do a bit of detective work, and that's fine, right? But there were some scenes, even Cheryl was watching, saying, I can't see what's happening now because it's too fucking dark because of the way he filmed it, right? So it's all well and good trying to make some sort of noir fucking, fucking detective movie. But I want to fucking see the scenes, like, and then they talk about certain scenes. Oh, the scene where he has the flare and he's rescuing all the people. That's the best moment in any Batman movie I've ever seen. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's actually stupid, really, to be fucking honest with you. But again, he played a good Batman. But the movie itself isn't as great as everybody is making it out to be. It's a decent movie. But I'll tell you where, right, in my list, this is my list, right? So The Dark Knight, Batman 1989, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, Batman Returns. Then you get this one, The Batman. I know I'm forgetting movies. No, I'm not forgetting. I'm leaving them out deliberately. Then you get the Batman, and then you could probably put Batman Forever there, and then obviously in last place it will always be that fucking stupid bleeding George Clooney fucking Batman movie. Right? That's last on any list. But the Batman isn't the best Batman movie ever made. I don't care what anybody says. And to actually you discredit Heath Ledger's Joker and to try make out that these characters in this Batman movie were better than his. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Heath Ledger is the definitive Joker, in my opinion. I love Jack Nicholson's Joker, I'm not going to lie. But for me, he's the definitive Joker. No, nobody can touch him. He's absolutely brilliant what he did with that character. Um, and Catwoman was wasted in this movie. Look, I'm not going to slag her off. Everybody was saying, well, why is Zoe Kravitz being cast? She did make a good Batwoman. She did make a good Catwoman. The problem is she wasn't in the fucking movie enough. And in fairness, if you actually removed her whole story plot, right, that she didn't really need to be in this movie. So I think she was wasted. In fairness, and we didn't get to see her kind of, in the very first scene, you see her where she gets into the suit and she's climbing down the stairs, but you can't see it because it's fucking dark. You can't really see her do her Catwoman stuff. So she was wasted. She was wasted. But it's getting a second one. Yeah, well, apparently, yeah. Well, they're getting a second one, so maybe him and the director kind of made up because apparently they did have a bit of a tiff when when Batman gave it to Catwoman on the Batmobile. We'll say no more about that, but that was reported by in the newspapers, if you remember. That was very big news. Apparently, the director walked in on them. If true, I don't know, but there you go. Um, but he did announce the another one, and people were cheering for it. Look, he is a good Batman, but he's only in the role a wet day. Let's see what he does with it now. But he's the decent Batman. He's a decent Batman. Right, we'll leave it there anyway because I've said enough before I feckin' um probably shock you all with more of me opinions about other movies that I've watched. But there you go. That's where I stand on that. But look, I want to thank you all again for tuning in. It's been a long night, and you've been here all the way through. So I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody that threw us a super chat as well, that left a comment, and to all you guys that left me a comment as well. I really appreciate it. Miller had too many Batman rogues in one movie. They should have trimmed it down to only Batman and the Riddler, followed by Batman and the Penguin. See, that's what Cheryl said. Cheryl said they should have probably started off with the Penguin, then introduced the Riddler in the second movie, and then maybe bring in Catwoman for the third movie. But he decided to put them all in. So unless it's a 3-story arc, then this could be the first of 3 movies. Then it might make, it might actually even itself out over the 3 movies. But we'll have to wait and see. But look, he did a decent job. It was all right, but it's not as great as everybody's making it out to be, in my opinion. More rumors, please. As I said, I'll be putting them up in a video later on. That'll be the only thing that I'll be doing now because I've been literally streaming for the whole day. I started at 4 o'clock this afternoon, so I'm literally straight. It's 2 o'clock now in the morning, so I've been streaming since 4, and I've had a break in between each stream. So, and the first stream was 3 hours, so that brought us to 7 o'clock. Then I took a break and we did another stream, and now we're here now. So, as I said, I'll put the Doctor Who rumors up on a slideshow video, but that's the only thing that I'm doing now tonight until tomorrow. Because as I said, I've been literally streaming since 4 o'clock this afternoon. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, it's 2:30 in the morning now. So, and she's in bed now, so I have to keep it quiet now. So that's why we're finishing. So I'll throw them up, don't worry. But that'll be the last thing that you'll see tonight. So look out for that. That'll probably be put up in the next 15-20 minutes. I'll get her done quick and I'll throw it up. And Darren says, good night, Noel, and all. Thank you all, actually, for popping in, as I said. I'm tired of all the overused plot where villains get caught and his plan was always to get caught. Yeah, I know. They do that. It's a trope that they do all the time now. And yeah, well, as I said, everybody that is on Twitter, if you want to tag Twitter support, try get Lee's account back, and even tag Mr. Musk as well if you want to do that. I actually let J.K. Rowling know what happened to him because she followed him. So I let her know that he has been suspended and the reasons why he was suspended. So let's see if we get any reply from JK, hopefully, or maybe she might retweet me tweet and tag Twitter support. Maybe she probably won't anyway, but I just thought I'd give it a go anyway. Because we'd like to see them all back on Twitter. Right, as I said, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to everybody over the 3 streams that left a comment and left a super chat. I really appreciate, as I said, the super chats do help a lot. So thank you very much. And thanks for voting in the poll. And I want to thank all my panelists that came on today as well. And Lee especially, because Lee did a stream with me earlier on. I want to give him a special thanks. And it was nice to see Daniel again on the channel as well. So I want to thank him and Real Super Doctor. And who else? Am I forgetting someone? Real Super Doctor. And who else did we have? I think that's all we had on the channel. Marty, unfortunately, didn't join us because obviously he was a bit busy. He said he'd try get on, but we'll see if we can get him on during the week as well. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to say good night. Have a good one. Stay safe. Good night or good morning, wherever you are. And I'll see you tomorrow at some stage. I'm going to get plenty of rest now. So here's the channel trailers. Good night, folks. Have a good one. Look out for that video in about 15-20 minutes time, maybe a half an hour. Just give me time to, because I need to relax a little bit first. All right, so I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for popping in. Thanks to me moderators as well, keeping the chat safe for all you guys. Good night. God bless. Stay safe. Look after your families, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.